Welcome to Unraveled Mind. My name is Antonio, this is my new whiteboard, and today I want to talk to you about how to make sense of meditation. Stay tuned, let's play. I decided to bring this topic today just because I've had direct experiences with meditation. I've now been consistently, I wouldn't say every day, but I've been consistently meditating for the last 2 years. And I've learned a thing or two in my process. I wouldn't consider by any stretch of my imagination myself an expert. There's a lot of Buddhist temples you can go to talk to experts. However, I do think I've experienced enough to have a little bit more to say on this topic than I think the average person, at least in the West, knows. Because there's a lot of confusion about what really classifies as meditation. There's so many different practices, so many different techniques. Most people just think it's to sit down and focus on the breath. And while that is a form of meditation, I wouldn't say that's everything there is to meditation. So hopefully I will be able to give you how I see meditation, how I structure it for myself, and hopefully it will be useful for you to go a little bit deeper and to expand your understanding of what really constitutes meditation, what it is, what are its benefits, and also what are its downfalls, because that's actually something we don't talk about so much in the West. It's all about the positives, but if it was all good, everyone would do it, and we know that that doesn't happen. So I just want to really bring my understanding and offer it to you, for you to hopefully learn something new, and hopefully if you're interested, then explore a little bit more on your own and even continue to go further. So as I mentioned before, now it seems that meditation is being talked about everywhere in the West, and it's all these benefits. You can fight anxiety, you can perform better, you can learn how to have more self-discipline and self-control, you can master your emotions. Everyone from top athletes to entrepreneurs and CEOs are saying that meditation is their secret sauce and the reason behind their success, or at least one of them. And it's been really popping up here in the West. And my question, really, one of the reasons why I decided to also make this video, is to explore the why this is. Because while it's been popping up in the last 50 years here in the West, meditation has been around for a long time. Most people would be aware that it comes from the East, and it's been around there for a long, long time. And just for temporal reference, the Buddha, which is someone who we tend to associate to meditation, and Buddhism tends to be associated with meditation. So just for reference, the original Buddha, Gautama, he was around in India for roughly 7,000 years ago. And of course, he developed this technique that led to the growth of Buddhism and these practices, but he did not invent meditation. It had been around in India and possibly other parts of the world for far longer than that. And so it's just for reference. This is not something new agey that appeared out of nowhere. This has been something that has been around. But then turning really, why did it become so popular so suddenly? And very simply, I don't have all the answers as to all the reasons why. It's a complex topic, and it's not the main point. I just wanted to share a few possible reasons that might have contributed to this sudden popularity. And of course, the first one is globalization. We live in a more and more globalized world, and of course that has many social impacts, many economic impacts. But one thing that it also leads to, it's to cultural exchanges. And this is what has been happening. A lot of ideas from the East have been brought to the West, from places like China, Southeast Asia, India. And with them, this deep, rich culture of meditation also started permeating into the consciousness of the West. Because we see things that appeal in these meditation practices. People come and say, just sit down and do nothing for 10 minutes and you'll achieve happiness and you'll get rid of your suffering. When someone comes and tells you this, of course you're going to want to explore a little bit more. And this is when people really in the West started becoming more and more exposed to these ideas. Another relevant factor is really, for the last 50 years, and that's why I said 50 years has been the big surge in the popularity of meditation in the West. It has been around in the West for longer than that as well, but this new popularity came from around 50 years ago, is because more and more psychologists, scientists have begun formally researching the benefits of meditation. Because in the East, they know the benefits, they know, they've experienced for a long time, they know what it brings them. But here in the West we are more scientific, or we tend to be, or at least that's how we were taught. So until there's a blind placebo test to check if it's really true, we don't tend to really believe that it's very helpful, or if it's true everything that's being promised. And this is what people started to do. They started going to the East, meeting these meditation masters and really putting their brains to the test to see what was going on inside. And more there's starting to be a deeper understanding from a scientific perspective as to how meditation works, what are the benefits, and really from that wealth of research there comes also a lot of from the medical side, and the psychologists then start to turn to meditation because they have these proven benefits to it. Psychiatrists, even doctors, they start to also turn to this as they see that there's a research backing its benefits. And finally, and this is something that I personally believe, and I know there's more people that I found believe with this view. It might be a little bit controversial, I don't know, but I just wanted to share, because religion was always in a way or another connected to meditation. Even I say it comes from the East, but even Christian, even Islam and other forms of religion, they all had some sort of meditation practice. Every spiritual religion had an understanding that meditation was helpful in this realm. And what's been happening is that in the last century, in the last 50 years, maybe less, religion has been losing its prevalence in the West. It's becoming less and less important in people's lives. It tends to become less and less seen as something good even. But the truth is, it was feeling a purpose. Whether it was doing it in a good way or a bad way, that's not the focus of this video, but it was feeling a spiritual purpose. And this is something that people tend to seek in their lives. That's why religions has been present in one way or another in all cultures in the world. It's because people tend to want to find spiritual meaning. They tend to want to understand more about us and the world than at least currently science can do. And because there's been this void from the loss of religion, meditation, which in the West is still kind of seen in a non-religious way. Of course, it can have religious connotations from Buddhism, Hinduism, but it can also be seen as non-religiously attached. And so people tend to also flock as a way to fulfill this spiritual need. And this might have also contributed to this prevalence of the new sudden popularity in the West. And I would like to really talk to you a little bit now about the different types of meditation at least from my perspective and from my understanding, I would like to start by saying that there's no unifying consensus of what meditation is. Lots of scientists, lots of psychologists have been trying, but there is no unifying consensus. Even within Buddhism, there's all these different techniques about that they say will bring you the ultimate happiness or the ultimate prize. And yeah, I don't want to really focus on one technique versus the other. That's not the goal of this video. The goal of this video is just to provide a broad view, and I can focus on specific meditation techniques in the future. But right now, I would like to really distinguish three broad categories, of course with a lot of overlap between them, and of course the benefits from each are not specific only to that type. They will all, in higher degrees or lower, have the same benefits because there's a lot of overlap. But the thing is people, when they talk about the benefits of meditation, they say it helps deepen your focus, it helps make you more aware and present in the moment, it helps you deal with your emotions, it helps control your discipline and control your emotions, it helps you stay more engaged, it helps bring more happiness and less negativity into your life. And while all of that is true, there are certain types of meditation that are more tailored towards a specific outcome, and other types of meditation that are more tailored towards other specific benefits and outcomes. And that's why I make this distinction, and that's why there's really, at least from my current understanding, not one size fits all technique. It's not that I say you sit down and focus on your breath and that's all you do for 10 years and that will bring you where you want to go, because it's important to know where you want to go and what you want out of meditation. What you want to achieve with meditation should dictate what type of meditation practice you implement. Because if you want to gain more focus and you're practicing a mindfulness meditation where it's all about releasing control and being present in the moment, you also get some discipline and some focus because you have to actively unfocus. But if you do a concentration meditation, which is all about focusing very deeply on one thing, it might be a little bit more tailored to your goals and to your needs. And that's really what I want with this distinction, is to really understand that it's not one size fits all, and also it's not that you should only do a technique or one type of meditation in your life forever and that's the right one for you, period. No, it's play around. This is, in the end, they all bring benefits, and you might need different things at different times. And also, since they all contribute in different ways to a certain benefit, you might want to play around and get the benefits that different types of meditation give you. And by combining them, you can really develop those areas in you quite a lot. But without further ado, I would like to really now focus on each type of meditation individually and really just provide my understanding on what each of them can offer. And the first type of meditation that I would like to explore is mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness is another buzzword, and point taken, all I've put here on the word is really buzzwords we hear about meditation. But I would like to really try to define, or at least provide my understanding of what mindfulness meditation is. A lot of people really think they are one and the same thing. Once again, it's a lot of overlap in everything that I'm saying, so it's okay to really have different opinions because on different understandings. I'm just trying to offer mine, and now I really make sense of what meditation is. And for me, and personally, what I see mindfulness meditation and how I practice it in my own meditation practice in my personal life, is mindfulness is all about detachment. It's about letting go of control. This is the typical sit down and observe your thoughts without getting attached to them. particular way that I like to practice mindful meditation is exactly that. I should sit down. I don't particularly focus on anything. I might focus on my breath if my attention goes there, but it's not the main focus. And also I'm not focusing on not thinking, because if anyone meditates for a while, they will find out that that's impossible. I'm not trying to make thoughts go away. What I'm trying to do is really pay attention in the present moment. Pay attention to myself, pay attention to my body, pay attention to my surroundings, and pay attention to my mental work that's going on. So if a thought comes, all I have to do is observe it. There's this very interesting analogy. I don't exactly know where it comes, but it's very popular, of watching the clouds go as you're lying on the ground looking up. There's a thought that comes up. You look at it. You can even stay with it for a while, but then just don't continue with it. It's just take it for what it is. It's a thought, let it go. And it's this process of observing what's there, looking at it, and then letting it continue on its journey and returning back into the present moment. This is my understanding of what mindfulness meditation is. You can do this in many ways. You can watch your thoughts. You can focus on the sounds around you, and then you notice something. That's my fridge, which I hope you're not being able to listen because I'm in the kitchen. But that's my fridge. I know what it is. I let it go. I don't focus on it anymore now. I hear a bird. There's a bird. This is also a very common way to practice mindfulness meditation, is this labeling. Is you notice something, you say what it is, and you let go of it and focus on something else. It's not this jumping from one thing to the other and trying to find out all the things that are around you. It's a more relaxed and gentle way. Is you're focusing on nothing, but your mind automatically wants to do something. It's really hard to really not focus on anything. And when it does, you just give it a name. Is it an emotion? Is it a sound? Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Is it a physical sensation? Then go away and focus on something else, or at least create the space for your mind to focus on something else. You are not actively doing any of the focusing. And that's why I say this technique is very useful for broadening your focus and increasing your awareness, because you're not trying to focus on anything, so your mind automatically creates the space where it notices a lot of things. And that's what people say when they start to meditate. They start hearing sounds that they were not noticing before. They start feeling things in their body that they were not aware of. And this is what it does. It really opens up your mind, and your focus, your conscious focus, is being removed. Therefore, your awareness broadens. You notice more things. Of course, in a gentle way. You are not perhaps looking at it with a depth of focus, or you're not paying so much attention to it as when you are looking specifically at a certain thing, but you are noticing. And this is what's important. And the advantages and the main benefits that I see from mindfulness practice is exactly that. You are not attached to any specific thing. There's this sort of detachment, so it's very useful with negative emotions, negative thoughts. You're observing them, but you're not getting attached. And creating this space is really helpful in both negative and even positive thoughts, because then it allows you to choose how you want to continue. I'm having a positive thought. I'm detached, but maybe this is something that I want to continue engaging with, and you go and stay more time with it. If there's a negative thought coming, okay, maybe this one I'm not willing to stay with it, so I just let it go. It gives you that choice. It allows you to come from a reaction space to a response space. And this happens because now you are noticing the triggers. Because a lot of people, they walk around with small pains in their body. If you eat unhealthy, if you don't exercise, it's hard to sit down and meditate, because then you're starting to noticing all these little pains and your body not working in an optimized function. And of course this has an effect in your day-to-day life. You're just not noticing it, and now you're noticing it, and it's easier to choose to act in a certain way if you're noticing what's causing it. And that's why it's very important to increase your awareness and to be able to see the things, because that's always the first step. If you want to change anything in your life, the first step is to really noticing what the problem is and what you want to do about it. That's always the first steps, and increasing your awareness. It's something that in my life has helped me a lot, because as I said, I was not aware of how many things were not working in my life. And a meditation practice allows you to calm down all the thought process, the conscious thought processes, and your subconscious can then offer you a lot of insights if you're just quiet and detached and of course not judgmental of what's coming up, because it then allows you to see the things for what they are and allow you to choose how you want to deal with them. That's what I have to say about mindfulness meditation. Of course, if any of you have a different understanding, feel free to post your understanding in the comments. Say what you agree and what you don't agree with me. But for now, I will now skip to concentration. Now about concentration meditation. So what do I mean when I talk about concentration meditation? And once again, I'm going to continue saying this throughout the video. There's a lot of overlap. There's some of the benefits that are the same, and you will improve the things that I said that were applicable to mindfulness meditation. You will also improve your awareness. You will also increase your detachment from doing concentration meditation. But I see it in a specifically different way, and it brings about a different type of mental activity. And since we can see meditation as a way of brain work, it's if you go to a gym and you do cardio or you do strength training, you will improve your fitness in different ways, but they will both improve your fitness. And of course, this is not a direct metaphor with a direct correlation, but it's a little bit like this. I see both as ways of improving your mental capacity and increasing your mental fitness, but they are slightly different and focus on different areas. So by concentration meditation, one way that I can easily describe to you, and that's really common, is this focusing on the breath. I see this more as a concentration technique, where your goal, as anyone who's tried to meditate probably is aware of, your goal is to sit down, relax your mind, calm your thoughts, and then focus on your breath, focusing on it coming in, focusing on coming out, and staying with it as long and as consistently as you can. This is a form of concentration because then you are directing your focus. You are consciously choosing not to focus on other things in order to focus on only this, as opposed to mindfulness, where you are actively choosing on not to focus on anything and being open to what comes. You are also very much in the present moment because you are focusing on something that's there. That's why many people use breath, because it's impossible for you not to breathe, and you are always doing it. So it's always a thing you can go back to, and it's also a thing that's constant, and it's always in the present moment. Every breath you take is different. Of course, we are not aware of this in our day-to-day. Of course, breath is a type of it's an object for your concentration practice, but there's many, and you can focus on anything. If you don't like breath, I have problems with really staying on my breath for a long time. You can focus on other things. If you're an auditory type of person, you can focus on a sound. Just make sure this sound is constant and it's not going away. I like this type of meditation a lot. I was doing it before I even knew what meditation is, because I come from Portugal, so it's very sunny and very hot in the summer. So I always like these fans in the summer when you have a nice fan blowing in your face. It's really heaven for me, just sharing that out. And the sound of the fan, I find that sound extremely relaxing. how many times me just lying or just sitting in the heat of the summer with this fan around, just focusing on this sound is really relaxing and meditative to me. I then just focus on nothing except that sound, and I can really stay there for a long time until I eventually fall asleep, but that's a different story. And yeah, if you want to focus on something else, you can focus on anything. You can have your eyes open and focus on an object. That's things that it's also very common, where you just have an object, you have it in front of you, and that's all you focus on. These are problems. Your eyes can get dry if you practice for a long time, and because your eyes are such a rich source of information to your brain, it's also maybe a little bit easier to get distracted. That's why a lot of meditation practices, they recommend you do it with closed eyes. And really, I'm just providing a few examples, but it's really anything. The point of concentration meditation is you choose something and you don't change it. You focus on something and you stay with that thing throughout the entire meditation. And of course, this has different benefits. If the other one broadens your focus and allows you to notice more things, this one increases your discipline, because your brain is going to want to go away and focus on other things, and your job is to bring it back. No, I want to focus on this thing. It will deepen your focus. It will allow you to really be attentive and to stay engaged with one specific thing. And how useful is that? Nowadays our attention spans are getting lower and lower. We live in the social media age. We live in the 5-minute YouTube videos. I'm sorry, this video is probably a little bit longer than that, and I thank you for sticking with me. But what benefit, if any, would it be in you being able to stay on a task or stay focused on anything you're doing for a long period of time? Of course, this is hard, and what most people do is they say, I'm lazy, I have ADHD, I cannot focus. And while that might be true, the reason is you don't practice it. If you go to a gym and you are not a very fit person, one thing that's hard for people to do is like pull-ups. And yeah, if you then want to get better at pull-ups, of course you can design a workout plan where you do all these sort of things. You do push-ups, you do running, and you do all these things. And it will have an impact. But if you want to get better at pull-ups, the thing you should be doing is as many pull-ups as you want for as many days as you can. And that's what people don't understand. If you want to get better at focusing on one thing, don't read books about how to stay focused. Just sit down and focus on one thing as a practice for a long time. And that's what I see concentration meditation as. And that's why it can be really beneficial, especially now in the West, where a lot of people suffer from this not being able to focus on a particular task for a very long time. And this can really help you with that. I don't have anything else that comes to mind right now. If you have any questions, if you have any disagreements, if you have any agreements, please feel free to comment down below and let me know, and I will respond to anything that I might have not addressed on this video. And finally, I would like to bring you the last type of meditation that I distinguish from, which is contemplation. Yeah, bringing us to the next topic of contemplation, which is the last type of meditation I would like to offer you. And it's the one that's least connected or related to the others. I think it's also one that, when I explain it to you, most people would say, but that's not really meditation, and I'm completely open to accepting that. I'm just, in my own understanding and in my own way of how I structure what meditation is, I tend to include this as well, and I'll explain to you why and what it really is. And if you want to call it meditation or not, it's completely fine. It will have its benefits, and that's all I want to offer you with this video, is to become aware of what it is, see its benefits, see if it's what's for you or not. What we call it, it's not the most important issue here. So, what is contemplation? And contemplation for me is a sort of meditative state where you, the same as the others, you calm yourself down, you relax your body, you relax your focus, you relax your mind. You stay very much in the present moment, in a very quiet space. But unlike the others, where the focusing on the thoughts is not your main concern, in here you are actively engaging in some sort of thinking. And what do I mean by this is you would want to choose one question beforehand. Before you start this meditation, you would want to focus on something. And it could be anything. You can ask, what do I want? What do I want out of life? It's a very important question to contemplate. And if you really want to experiment and see how this technique works, you just experiment with that one. What do I want out of life? Or what do I want, if you want more generally? You can contemplate about anything. So you can contemplate about more philosophical questions. So what is love? What is truth? You can contemplate about all of these things. And the point here is that you are not really thinking about the answers. It's a mix of both concentration and mindfulness, in my opinion, because yes, you're focusing on this one topic and this one question, so it's, in that regard, it's like concentration. But on the other hand, you're not building the answer. You are then asking the question, shutting everything else down, focusing on nothing, and allowing that answer to come to you. So in that regard, it's a little bit more like mindfulness. You are waiting for things to come into your awareness. And that's why I say this is not a logical or rational type of thinking. It can be, and it's okay. Just be aware that if you're noticing that you're just going through loops and just coming up with explanations from a rational point of view, you're missing a little bit of what I'm trying to offer you as the advantages of the contemplation. Because for me, it's much more of an intuitive process. It's about I ask something and then I wait for the answer to come to me. And ideally, I would want it to come from a place of intuition, or at least from a place other than my head, because my head is always very good at giving me answers and giving me explanations. So if you're asking something like, what do I want out of life? Your head probably already gave you an explanation there, or gave you some sort of answer. You would just want to then see what else is there. What does my intuition says about this? What does my heart? And of course, this now starts to sound a little bit more new agey. So feel free to consider whether this is for you or not. But how many of us feel not connected to our intuition? How many of us think we are living our life through our heads? And maybe that's helping us, and that's good. And I'm not saying you should stop thinking rationally about things. I'm just saying that sometimes the rational explanations we are able to come up with to some answers, and answers that are deeply personal to us. So, should I continue in this relationship or not if a relationship is not working out well? What do I want out of life? Should I change career or not? It's important to also analyze this from a rational point of view, but sometimes that's not enough. That's how people feel stuck. Because if you analyze the problem from a rational point of view, and of course there's going to be pros and cons, and you look at that list, it's hard to make a decision. Sometimes the only way to unblock it is to really go within and what do I feel is right for me in this moment. And that's what contemplation allows you. It allows you a non-rational understanding of a situation. Just going back to the technique a little bit more, it's, once again, you focus on a question, you ask it, and then you allow the answer to come in. And one very important, and this has been a constant throughout all the types of meditation, is you don't judge this answer. You don't try to develop it with your mind, with your conscious mind. You don't try to pick up this insight and try to develop it too much with your rational mind. You just let it come. You watch it. You feel it. You see, how does this answer feel to me? And then you let it go. And then you ask the question again, and you repeat the process, and you repeat the process. Because how many times have you been talking with a kid? Kids are very good at this, and this child asks you something, and you give him the rational, scientific explanation, and they ask why. And you try to then continue making it a little bit more simple, and they continue why, or they keep repeating the same question, and you get to a point where you don't know the answer, but new things might be coming in. Either you get annoyed and you say, shut up, this is how things are, or new insights as to, I never really thought this deeply about this. There's really maybe something a deeper level that I was able to go. So it's very important. This is an iterative process, and you can always squeeze more out of it. It's always impossible to go deeper and to get new insights about the situation. And that's why I say this can be very meditative. It's because when you get into this space where you're relaxed and you're calm, this entire process is very meditative. You're not really engaged with your rational mind. So it's really like mindfulness. You're just watching the answers instead of watching the thoughts, but you're also letting them go. And another tip, if anything, I can give for you, it's this is one of those meditations where it's important to keep a meditation journal around. And a lot of people say you should always have a meditation. I personally don't have a meditation journal every time I do a meditation, but every time I do a contemplation meditation, this is one that I always have insights to write about afterwards, and I do want to capture them because they are there. If you don't capture them, when you go back to your normal life, they get less and less powerful. So I would also invite you to think about what you want to do with the insights you've had during your contemplation. Otherwise, they will eventually go away. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about contemplation. Just one final note is, all the people, I cannot say all, but many people that we admire, be it in the arts, be it in science, be it in sports, these are people that have contemplated what they are doing. If there's an artist and he has really contemplated what is art to me, then he will allow it to really express himself through his art, because it's something that he's aware of. Now, I don't have any definition of art in front of me. It's not something I engage with very often. But if I was now to if I had this question, what is art? And I go to Wikipedia and I see a bunch of definitions from people in the past saying art is beauty, art is something. It's not going to resonate with me at the same level. I'm just looking at the answer. And this is a problem in today's society. We seek the answers externally, and this is something that's been popularized with the internet and the rise of Wikipedia. You can always search the answer, so we don't value contemplation as much. That's one of the reasons why philosophy also started to become less and less important, because philosophy was all about the contemplation in the past. And with the rise that this scientific approach to life, where there is a right answer, whether we already know it or not, there is a right answer, and we seek then the right answer, we lose the benefits of contemplating and arriving at answers that are deeply personal to us. Of course, there's a right answer to a math problem, but our lives are not math problems, and knowing what do I want out of life, I cannot solve it with an equation, and no one can give you that answer. And this is something that it's really personal to me, because when I started thinking about what do I want to do with my life, I was reading books, I was doing online courses, I was watching videos, and deep within, I wanted someone to give me the answer. So what do I want? What do I need to do? And it was deeply frustrating because I never felt like anyone could. A lot of people tried, and that's what marketing does to you these days, is they try to give you these answers. The problem is these answers are very personal, and no one size fits all, no model, no nothing can really give these answers to you. And it's only when you accept that fact, you can get inspiration, you can get insights from externally, but these answers, these deep personal answers can only come to you through deep contemplation. And it's something that if you see value, if you see that there's value in knowing what you want to do with your life, knowing why you do the things that you do in your life, knowing why you like the things that you do, knowing why you don't like the things that you do, if you think that's important to you, then I offer you this technique. Of course, there's some process involved. If you don't see the benefit in any of this, then I don't recommend this to you, because it's you're just going to be stressing out, and it's not going to bring you the benefits if you don't see them. But that's all I had to say about contemplation. A little bit too long. Leave me your thoughts and let me know what you think about this. And yeah, I have more things to talk about. Meditation is a deep topic, and there's always more things to talk about, but I think I would finish this video here, or with these thoughts. Once again, why did I shoot this video and why I wanted to talk about this topic is I want people to understand there's no one type of meditation, there's no one technique. So if you perhaps tried something because you've heard about all the benefits, meditation will allow me to stay more focused and allow me to be more present, and you tried something and it didn't work for you personally, you didn't see those benefits, it's fine, but realize that there's a lot more in this space, and if you're curious and willing, perhaps give it another go, try something a little bit different. Maybe from the mindfulness, the concentration and the contemplation types, maybe you can resonate a little bit more with one of them and try to explore it a little bit more. And yeah, there's a lot to be talked about meditation. I didn't go too much into specific techniques. I can go in the future. Just wanted to give you this broad view. And finally, if this is something, if you watch this video and you stick until the end, it's because you're mildly curious about meditation, probably. So what I offer you is seek out that curiosity, explore that curiosity, see where it leads you. If you want to try one type of meditation, you don't have to stick with it for forever. Try it, see how it feels, give it a chance to see if it really helps you. If it doesn't, try something different and explore, because the benefits are there. A lot of people experience it. There's also some problems. If you go too deep, too fast without being prepared, meditation can really open up the doors to your subconscious, and no matter what type of life you've led, no matter if you've led the most comfortable life in the world, there's stuff in your subconscious that's always ugly to look at. So if you go too fast, too quickly, and you go unprepared, there's always the possibility that there's going to be some experiences that are not so positive. But if you're just exploring and you're just trying for 10 minutes a day, try for 1 week each of these types and see how they feel to you. And with 10 minutes a day, you already see some of the benefits. And other than losing 10 minutes in a day, there's really no downside. So if you're curious, I encourage you to try and write me how it went for you and what did you really take from it. And with that, I would like to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this was for Unraveled Mind. I have a website, feel free to share it. Feel free to check it, not share it. You can also share it. And since I'm talking about sharing, you can also share this video, like it, subscribe. It's really a way for me to try to spread some of the topics I think are important, and maybe there are even some confusion or they are not so talked about in society. So this is just my contribution to help people find these important topics. Whether that will help them or not, I hope so, but that's outside of my hands. I offer them to you, and now you explore and do whatever you want. I think it's important. And yeah, drop me a like, subscribe. It allows me to continue making these videos and gives me the motivation to speed up the filming process, because it's still I'm still getting comfortable in front of the camera. So seeing your support is always something that motivates me to do more and faster. And this is something that I hope brings you all benefit. Thank you so much.